Hey, before we start recording, check it out. It's a new watch. My favorite week of the year. It's Thanksgiving week. Good food, good football, family time. This is your last chance to save on your own original grain watch. Black Friday sale ends this week. They're doing a $100 off sale right now, but guess what? I'm gonna give you an extra 10% off with my code FARMER. Original grain watches. Their watches are made out of all sorts of materials. I'm gonna tell you my favorite. Jack Daniel's collection, original grain. I love JD. It's probably my favorite collection that Original Grain has. Get you an Original Grain watch, whether it's for your boyfriend, your husband, your uncle, the cousin that you might not even like. Whatever their interests are, they're going to like an Original Grain. Original Grain, you can save over $100 with Original Grain. They're running a $100 off Black Friday sale, but you can use the code FARMER to get an extra 10% off. Go get you an Original Grain watch. I am jacked up on ranch fuel. I'm kidding.
The backbone of America is farming and ranching.
Boom. Weren't y'all on like a TikTok Super Bowl commercial?
We were, yes.
Hard work, faith, family.
Tom Selleck. I would like to know what it's like to have the second best mustache in America.
Oh, God. Stop there.
We got death threats and hope your cattle all die. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff off of that one little video that we did.
Oh,
look at those.
Those are nice.
Brand new pair
Wow.
Tecovas boots. What are some crazy conspiracy about ag that y'all have heard?
There's a lot of folks out there that are...
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Hey,
Sorry.
viewers at home, we are on the farm, okay? Hey, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Like a Farmer, and I am jacked up on ranch fuel. I'm kidding. Hey, y'all. It's Pat. Welcome to another episode of Like a Farmer, powered by Ag America Media. I am at Bar 7 Ranch today. I have Cody and Erika Archie coming on the show today. But before, as always, every single Wednesday, check out an episode on YouTube or wherever you listen to your audio podcast. Let's jump into it. The Archies, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having us. Welcome.
I'm excited, and honestly, we were talking a little bit off the camera. It's like the social media world and agriculture continues to get more popular. And I've always said this, I think some of the best content creators are farmers and ranchers like yourself.
Agreed. Not us, but I mean, agreed. I
Not
think
you.
they're
Okay, here we
some
go.
of the best, but
I love starting like this because I recall maybe even, weren't y'all on like a TikTok Super Bowl commercial?
we were, yes.
So you must be doing something good at it. I know this might not be your full-time gig, but I mean, you started, and I just want to jump right into that because how did the whole TikTok scene start with y'all?
I'm going to let Erika take this one.
So we were on Instagram and Facebook for many, many years because we're heavily involved with our Texas Farm Bureau organization, and they've always taught us to share our story so that our story is getting out there and our genuine story and what's going on the farm and ranch and how we feed and clothe America. And so that's kind of what we've always done. And then one day we were going to check cows and I recorded Cody saying something silly for a TikTok and posted it, and it kind of went viral for us. And so
I quoted a Denzel Washington line off of We Are the Titans. I told him, it was me and Erika and Clancy, and I said, hey, if you miss a cut today, you're going to have to run a mile. And if you let a cow bluff you today, you're going to run a mile, like that. I'm going to put my John Blue foot up your butt kind of deal, And when we posted it, Erika posted it on her. I didn't even have social media on my phone at that time. I didn't have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, none of that.
he was a stalker, but he used mine to stalk. But
That's what my mom does
Yeah,
too back
exactly.
home. She doesn't have social
Yeah.
media, but she likes to use somebody else to stalk what all
Exactly.
her boys are doing.
Right. So Erika posted it, and it got, I don't know, like 15,000 views or something that night, and we went from 300 followers to 3,000 overnight. So the next day I was like, well, now that I'm the king of TikTok and I've got a video that went viral, and which at 15,000 then was a viral video
Yeah.
for us at 300 before, and it just kind of, that one got 25,000 views.
at that point we saw that.
Just started to grow.
Yeah, we were like, we got to keep this momentum up and maybe we can keep going with that. So
And it's easy too. It's organic.
Yeah.
Like this is y'all's
Right.
job, and it's just like, hey, pull the phone out, which
Yep.
that's what I love about it. I love this about the social media space and how it's also educating people, especially in agriculture. Like, how important do y'all think that is, especially today, on how people know who their farmer is and who grows their food?
I think it's essential for anybody involved in agriculture to put their story out there. I'm not talking about share every single aspect of your life. I mean, a lot like we do. We're comfortable doing that, but not everybody is. But for years, there's been this narrative from the media and from,
Fear mongering. And
right, of, hey, farmers and ranchers are trying to kill you. I mean, they're feeding you this GMO corn to their cattle, and it's going to make you grow a third toe on your off your big toe or something like, all that kind of, just what they're trying to do is divide. They're trying to kill agriculture, family farms and ranches across the United States. And one of the things that I always say when we speak to groups, when we give speeches,
it's not.
She hates
speeches.
it when I say
I
that.
hate that word. I hate that word.
Why do you hate it?
It's not a speech.
When we give a presentation
not
or
a
a PowerPoint or something,
Oh God!
you can't say
it's
a
getting
speech.
worse. It's getting. Just stop there.
But what I always like to say is that, like, agriculture is kind of like the white trash kids in town. It's, if they can't find somebody else to fight, they'll just fight each other. And it's like, I don't understand why we can't realize that if we want to attack conventional farmers and ranchers, as soon as they get through wiping them off the slate, they're going to go after the organics and we got to group together. So no matter what aspect of agriculture you're in, you need to talk about what you do, why you do it. Like these feedlot calves behind us, we're feeding them GMO corn, and I'm proud of it. I mean, it's going to make them grow. It's going to do good, and it's a safe, easy way to grow cattle, and it's good for everybody at the end of the day. So it's absolutely essential that we spread the word of agriculture, because I think right now there's a lot of folks out there that are.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Hey, viewers at home, we are on the farm, okay? Just want to let you know that.
I think the general public has gotten tired of being told this is what you need to think, and they want to think for themselves. They want to know stuff for themselves. These people do it every single day. I want to hear what they have to say about why they do stuff.
Why do you think agriculture isn't talked about when you turn on the news like everything else is?
My honest opinion is America's never gone hungry. I mean, not to say that there aren't hungry people in America, but as a whole, our society has not gone hungry. And so there's really no reason to worry about talking about protecting agriculture or doing things to promote agriculture, because we have the world's safest, most abundant food supply. So why worry about it, right? I mean, if farmers and ranchers, and I know we're going to get a lot of hate on this, but it's okay. If we did what the dock workers did, there would be a new sight to what, hey, this is what farmers and ranchers actually do for America. I mean, I think farmers and ranchers are some of the most undervalued people in our society. I mean, they're just kind of taken for granted. The backbone of America is farming and ranching. And if you want validation of that, if you go into the library, is it the Library of Congress?
I think so.
When you walk up the steps there's a big mural painted, and this lady has a scroll of topics there, I guess, so to speak, and agriculture is the number one thing on it. And it's not in alphabetical order. It's not just because it starts with A. So go check it out. Our founding fathers knew that agriculture played an important part of our society, and it's just been taken for granted because the American farmers and ranchers are so good at what they do. Our society has never had to want for anything when it comes to having food on their table.
I think you're spot on. I mean, I've always said there's two things that I never want to have to depend on as a country, and that's my protection, whether that's military or down to local law enforcement, or my food. I do not want to have to depend on any other country to feed me. Like, if all the farmers today just turned off the tractors, it's not going to take that long for us to realize, these farmers and ranchers actually do mean something in this country. We probably should show them a little more attention. Erika, I'd love your opinion. I think one of the trending topics that I always at least like to bring some light on is women in agriculture, coming from a single mom back home that runs a family business. And I think, and let's just be honest, women are just smarter than men, period. It will happen one day.
Men just do dumb things.
There you go.
They're
yeah.
just
And we will see the first women president one day. We need it, honestly. But like, what are your thoughts when it comes to kind of modern day agriculture and where the future of the industry is going?
Why do you have to ask me a hard question?
It's not. I just want you to be opinionated on this because everybody has their own opinion, but you are somebody that you're highlighting the industry in the good way. Let's be honest. We're not just turning on TikTok to see Cody.
I think most people are, but no, I agree. I think that agriculture as a whole in America is unappreciated. And I think that's why people like to watch and learn about where their food and fiber come from on our channel, is just because we're just everyday people that they can relate to, and they enjoy hearing us kind of explain.
It's not just farm and ranch stuff. It's almost like a lifestyle. I mean, we'll post a video or two out here doing stuff around the ranch, and then, you know, the next one we may be doing a live in the shop working on Clancy's pickup that he's driving, or we may be working on Erika's truck, or we may be at the dry cleaners or the laundromat that we own talking about how that process happens. And I think by doing that, we are able to build trust with people because they see we're just normal, average people, and then they can, when it relates to the agriculture side of stuff, when we talk to them about why we use implants on our cattle, or why we're grain finished versus grass fed, why they feel like they can trust us and develop that relationship with us.
I love y'all's relationship, like as a couple. I'd like to say that.
Me too.
Thanks.
I really do love that. And just getting to hang for the few hours that we have, like hard work, faith, family, doing the right thing. I mean, these are values that y'all have and that y'all instill in y'all's kids, which is just awesome. Like, I really do look up to y'all when it comes to that type of stuff. So thank you for that. Bar 7, how did that get started? Like, just the ranch as a whole? First generation, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We didn't inherit anything. We bought this place ourselves when we were in our early 20s. You know, we had this place for 4 or 5 years before we built our house on it. This barn, none of these barns and stuff were here, but it really all started, I mean, we both have family that are involved in agriculture and farmed and ranches in our, you know, but I always knew I wanted to farm and ranch. I mean, as a kid, that's what I liked. So, you know, I remember spending weekends and summers with my aunt and uncle working on their place and just developing a love for agriculture and farming and ranching. And that's what I wanted to do. So, you know, I geared everything from that point on to getting to that goal, you know, 4-H and FFA and going to, you know, Texas A&M and, you know, wanting to go to vet school and that kind of stuff. Working on ranches when I got old enough to get a job, you know, I was working on ranches, working at sale barns, that kind of stuff like that, trying to be around agriculture. And it just flourished from there. I mean, we were able to buy this place in 2006, and we just started working on stuff from there.
And that's what I'm curious on, the passion. That makes sense, having family that were in the business prior to y'all, because outside of just day in, day out Bar 7, you are very active in Farm Bureau, FFA. How important are those types of organizations for our future in agriculture?
Yeah, I mean, as 4-H leaders, I mean, I'm a club manager. Our kids have grown up in 4-H. Cody grew up in 4-H. I did not. I actually can say I don't remember knowing what 4-H was when I was a kid. And we both grew up in the small community like this. But being involved in that and helping mold our kids into a way that where they, you know about agriculture and all the different things that you can do in the industry is very important to us, because that's the passion that we have. So we find it important to give back to that program as well.
The way I like to look at it is, when I was a kid coming up through 4-H, and then when I got in high school and FFA, I had adults that gave back to me, that, you know, showed me how to do stuff, that took the time to explain to me why things work the way they do and how things work. And it's just our responsibility to do that for the next generation, because even now, I mean, you know, there are men and women our age that have little to no idea where their food and fiber comes from, and their kids are even worse off. You know, I mean, they think chocolate milk comes from a brown cow at the grocery store or something, or it just comes from Walmart or H-E-B.
I mean, even in our community, even in a town as small as ours, as people don't know all those things.
So it's absolutely our job to show the next generation of what agriculture is, and the opportunities that there are in ag now. They're almost limitless. I mean, 10 years ago, you couldn't fly a drone and spray weeds. But now if you're a kid that's really into tech, you can work in agriculture by flying a drone or mapping drainage or something, using there's all kinds of technology that kids are different now. My son who's 15 years old, he likes technology and stuff like that. Where I didn't really enjoy that and don't really too much today, and as much as I want to say, hey, put that down and we got to do this, maybe he's going to design something for a tractor one of these days, or who knows, It's just there's lots of opportunities out there that's not just back-breaking manual labor, that kids can still be involved in ag and the production of what we produce on these different farms and ranches across the nation, that if somebody will just take a little time and instill in them the importance of ag and nurture that and help it grow, it'll make a difference one of these days.
I think you're spot on. And it's funny because you hear all these crazy conspiracy about ag. You said the chocolate milk thing probably just comes from brown cow. But what are some crazy conspiracy about ag that y'all have heard doing this, especially even on y'all's, I'm calling it y'all's social media era in agriculture? What are some crazy things that y'all have seen people say or heard people say?
Oh, you see all the stuff about, I can't believe you're, letting those cows breed, or they don't have any say in who's breeding them or when they're getting bred, or, we don't really fight that too much on our side, but, there's always the myths that you hear, grass-finished beef is more nutritious for you than grain-finished beef. There's zero difference in them, basically.
But I think that what we've seen more than just people trying to attack is just the thirst for the knowledge. People just want to know, is this good for me, or is this better for me? Is it better if I eat grass-finished beef? Is it better if I, don't eat GMO, fed corn, or, there's just a thirst for people just want to know how things are done out on a farm and ranch.
I could only imagine what the comment section looks like on some of y'all's videos.
Well, you brought up our Super Bowl ad, which we never knew that was going to play during the Super Bowl. We thought it was just going to be on TikTok, And, when that came out, we were instantaneously members of the Chinese Communist Party, and like me and old Kim Jong-un were like this, or whatever his name is, like we're fishing buddies or something. We got death threats and, hope your cattle all die. We got all kinds of stuff off of that one little video that we did. And really the whole basis of that video was to say that you can develop a community on social media, and that good things come from TikTok. And we definitely have seen that. We've developed lots of relationships and reached lots of people through social media, whether it's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it was,
Look at we talked about the relationships, the ag gear, the ranch fuel, orange cream.
Orange cream.
This is my favorite. What do you got?
Well, currently I'm drinking a blackberry lemonade. My favorite is a lime agave, but I've already had one of those.
I've got the
today,
mango
so
twist.
That's Erika's favorite. So
this was my first time having ranch fuel. Thank y'all.
You're welcome.
This was
He's a believer.
We'll have him hooked now.
Yeah, I'm hooked. So were y'all watching the game when the commercial came on, or did y'all's phones just start getting blown up?
Yeah, we were seeing comments about it, but we did not see it. We were watching the game, but we didn't.
Only played in certain areas. I don't know if their advertising is different across the nation, or.
But people sent us messages, and then our pictures were on billboards in Vegas for right before that for 2
during
months.
NFR and everything. Yeah, we got.
And so that was
cool. People were sending us pictures from that.
People kept sending pictures from Vegas, you're on the,
Jumbotron
this huge,
or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like y'all are like rural America's #1 couple.
I don't know about that.
There has to be an ad out there that we can get Cody and Erika on, whether it's
FarmersOnly.com or
Farmers
something
Only. I had the founder of FarmersOnly.com on the show. Just an unbelievable individual, very intelligent. But no, I'm telling you, it seems like just watching y'all's videos, it's like the love that y'all have for each other is unbelievable.
That's all put on, made up for TV.
I love that.
Cody just said this morning, he's like, I sure hope I don't go before you, because you're gonna make these kids miserable if I'm like, you just think I'm that infatuated with you that I'm gonna be so heartbroken. Which
Y'all and the
obviously-
kids are homeschooled. Is that correct?
Clancy is,
Okay,
and
Clancy.
only for the last 2 years. So he learned how to read and write at regular school, so we didn't have to teach him that. But there's a big stigma, about homeschool kids that they're socially awkward and everything. I mean, you met him. I mean, how many? The most 15-year-old kids walk up and stick their hand out and shake their hand and introduce themselves. I mean, is that
You're spot? No, that's not even a value in today's age anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Take your hat off when you meet a lady. Open the door for a lady. Shake a man's hand. Look him in his eye. Like that. Those values aren't even a thing in America anymore. So I really appreciate that, and I know they learned that from your parents. The homeschool thing's interesting. I mean, literally, Brantley Gilbert was on the show a couple weeks ago, and he's homeschooling his kids just because he doesn't know what the hell they're teaching in schools these days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not why Clarence went homeschooled, and because we go to our kids went to a very rural school just about 7 miles down the road here. I mean, and it was, Clancy, Kylie graduated with
18 kids in her
18
class.
kids in her graduating class.
Very small
Clancy
school.
had the largest class at that time with like 25
28,
kids
yeah.
or so, 28 kids. I mean, still play six-man football. The seniors know who all the kindergartners are, carrying them around school, just
It's a great school. So
the superintendent's a Baptist preacher. So, I mean, it was very
Small town America. You gotta
small
love
town
it.
America, exactly. And Clarence was involved played on every athletic team, did good in school. He came to us, I guess, in the 8th grade and said, "I really want to homeschool." He said, "I want to be able to work. I'm kind of bored at school, I guess." And I told him, I said, "Well, man, I don't know about that." I said, "What are you going to do if we do this and you don't like it? You're kind of stuck." And
we kind of brushed it off for like 6 months. We were like,
then
you're crazy. We're not doing this.
when spring break hit of his 8th grade year, he was like, "I really want to homeschool." So I called them and said, "Hey, he's really wanting to do this. Is this something?" And they was like, "Well, we don't normally let somebody come this late in the year." I said, "Well, here's my thinking is if he finishes out this last half of this semester homeschooling and he doesn't like it, well, then he's not behind. He can go right into high school, and he hadn't missed anything but the last half of this semester, I said, if he likes it, then we just roll on. So they let him. He stayed home the rest of that year, did
The rest
good.
is history. He loved it. And so it's been great. It's
He's
been
a
a very big
sophomore now.
blessing. Yeah.
And it's been great because, he does his schoolwork in the morning. He's through in a couple hours. Then he can work for me. He's got his own business. He's got a knife shop over there where he builds knives, fixed blade knives, and he can work in that in the afternoons on his own. I mean, he's got a full-blown shop over there in a little building that has got all of his equipment in it. He can just go in there and work, and then works for us. He can focus on 4-H and doing those community service projects through 4-H and the contests that they offer him. And he gets a lot of education out here that I'm not going to say that he wouldn't get at school, but he just gets more of it. Like there's a shop class in school, but you get 30 or 45 minutes, and half of that's getting your tools out and putting them up. Where here I can set him on a welding project that might last 3 or 4 days, and he can do it every afternoon for 3 or 4 hours. Or it's just a different schooling system, and he's doing well in it, so we're satisfied so far.
And it's learning trades that you just can't learn in school. And it's what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, it says blue-collar trades, whether it's plumbing or electricity or farming or welding or just stuff that you just want to be working on trucks. Like I'm excited to talk about, like, just stuff that you just want to learn as a human being to just be self-dependent, I guess, right?
I think that's one of the biggest lies that's been told to America is you have to have a college education to be successful.
Boom.
In our community, I'm going to tell you right now, moving forward, if you're a plumber, an electrician, if you can frame a house, if you can work on a vehicle, that kind of stuff right there, those are going to be the next doctors and lawyers, the guys that make big money. Because personally, I know from our experience having rental properties, and America has failed a lot of men. American society has. I mean, most of my renters now are good if y'all are watching, but some of the ones we've had in the past, I mean, I have grown men calling me saying, "Hey, I don't have any hot water." I was like, "Well, okay, we had an electrical storm and the power flickered a few times. Have you
even
checked to make
try?
sure that your water heater the reset doesn't need to be pushed on it?" "Oh no, how do you do that? I don't even know how to do that." Or, I definitely think there is a need for college if you're going into something specialized. But if you can do without it and just be just as successful, I think.
Trade schools, I think they're going to continue to get more popular every single year. I think you're spot on. Before we talk about that, I want to play a game.
All right.
Okay.
You like to lose?
We play a game on this show. Okay.
Okay.
This game's
Cody
called,
takes games seriously.
this game is called Give 'em the Boot,
Give them the boot.
presented by Tecovas. Okay. This is what we're gonna do. Got a brand new pair of Tecova boots, and actually, believe it or not, for agriculture's favorite lady, Miss Erika Archie.
Oh,
Look at
those
those.
are nice.
Brand new pair.
Wow.
Tecova boots. Hope to see these in Vegas at the
So now I
NFR.
have to, but now we have to win these.
Correct. Oh yeah. I mean,
I
you
think
just have
we've
to.
already won 'em.
You have to participate in the game. Okay.
Okay.
Give them the boot
Give 'em
presented
the
by
boot.
Tecovas. So what we're gonna do is I have a few questions in here.
They smell good. I can smell them all the way over
Oh,
here.
I went to HQ the other day in Austin, and like you walk in and that smell
the
of
best
leather
smell.
was just unbelievable. So I'm gonna pass the boot to Mr. Cody, and he's gonna pull out a question, and you can. I think you're gonna have 2 questions each, and you can give a question the boot. You don't have to answer it.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna start.
So go ahead and pull a question.
Pull
huh?
a question out. Read the question, and let's see if you give it the boot or not.
All right.
Hold it for you.
Question number 1.
What do you love most about your spouse?
This is awesome.
Give it the boot. No. What do I love the most about you? There's so many things that I could name here.
I feel like this is one of those things where you're putting off the answer.
No, really, this is a hard thing to answer because there are so many things. But I think what I love the most about you is, and it's one of the things I probably hate the most about you, is it's your stubbornness, because you absolutely know when you've done something wrong, but you absolutely refuse to apologize for it. And I love you for that, because you are willing to stick to your guns, and you do that with me when there's stuff that I want to do and you're like, you said we weren't going to do that, and you hold me to that. So even if it hurts my feelings or makes me want to just like get aggravated. So that's what I would say is your stubbornness is one of the things that I love
feel
the
like
most
that's
about you.
not a good attribute, but okay.
All right, your turn.
I love that you're stubborn. All right.
It's my turn?
Yep.
Okay.
Love this game.
Let me hold that for you.
Sure.
You got to read it. Come on.
What annoys you the most about your spouse?
Oh, man, this is going to be long.
Oh,
I bet I know what it is.
you do?
I think so,
I
but
cannot
you go ahead and answer.
wait. I cannot wait to find out what you think it is.
I got thick skin. Go ahead.
It's probably when you do your feet together after you take your boots off and you sit there and like play with your
I
feet.
thought it was going to be swishing air through my mouth.
Oh my gosh, that's annoying.
Hold on.
too.
I want to go on this feet thing, because like you mean you just go your feet.
Yeah, he takes his boots
Yeah, like,
off and then
like
he just-
heaven forbid, after my feet have been inside a pair of boots for 12 or 13 hours a day, I pull them off and I just kind of like rub my feet side to side, just like, okay, yeah, just kind of move the socks around that have been stuck to your foot for the last 13 hours.
I thought I was
It's
the
so
only one that
annoying.
did that.
That is so annoying.
About a half a second of it, and it's like, can you stop doing that? And I'm like, really? I mean, you could go to another room or something, I guess. I don't know, but
I've been in these boots for 12 hours.
Yeah. Exactly.
What a great game to be presented by Tecovas.
Is this supposed to be a game that brings us closer together, or
all right, question number 2. Here you go. If you could be anybody for one day, who would you be? I'm going to say Tom Selleck. I would like to know what it's like to have the second best mustache in America.
I love that.
No, who would I really want to be? If I could be anybody for one day, who would you be?
I mean, I know what I thought you would say.
What did you think I would say?
The President of the United States.
I'm going to be that one day. I'm not worried about that.
What would be the first thing you did if you were president?
What would be the first thing I did if I was the president?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's the first thing you would do.
the very first thing when I rolled into office.
In the Dodge Power Wagon.
In the
on
Dodge-
And
Pennsylvania
and
Avenue.
old Carl, that's Carl.
Yep.
When I rolled in Carl, the first thing I would do is I would shut down, and this is going to aggravate some people too, is I would probably shut down all the subsidies of solar and wind and all that kind of stuff. Because if you can't make it on your own, you ain't got no business being in business.
You ain't no cowboy.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that solar and wind doesn't have a place, but if the American people got to fund it to get it there, they need to go back to the drawing board and get it to where it pencils out on paper on its own without being funded by the government.
I like it. Okay.
We don't normally talk politics on our channel, so we're going to
we don't talk politics.
And it's okay. I do want to hit on that too because we never do too. But it's fun and it's very easy because I truly believe what we do every single day is probably the most bipartisan thing out there. I don't care if you vote Democrat, Republican, Independent, or whatever these other parties are calling themselves now. You need to be able to eat. So there's I'm backing up.
Back up. There you go. All right.
Why do I get these questions? This is a terrible question. How are you going to do that?
You can boot it if you want to.
No, there's none of that around here.
I have to boot this question. I have to.
You can say it, but then you can boot it.
Who's your favorite kid?
Oh.
I have to boot this question.
I guarantee you I know how that one was going to. You don't have to answer it, but I know what our children would say.
They would both say they're my favorite.
Okay, meanwhile. Put that in here.
Why?
Hey, give them the boot presented by Tecovas. You like those boots?
Those are nice.
You want to put them on, see if they fit?
Here you go.
You want to try them on?
Do you want me to do that right now?
Yeah, try them on.
Yeah, try them on.
Let's see.
I was just complaining that I didn't have any boots I could wear.
Those smell
today.
good. Born in Texas, made by hand. Handmade in Mexico.
They're made in Mexico.
Made in Mexico.
Those got rubber soles on them. I like that.
My microphone's on the way.
Ooh, that slid right in there. Now,
Does
I'll
it
tell
fit?
you what.
Those are comfy.
Oh, they look
Yes.
good. Look at that.
Good.
Good
Dang,
job.
that makes me happy.
Y'all are awesome. Thank
Here
you.
you go. Here's the other one.
Thank you.
I didn't know, man, I was going in there shopping for a woman, shopping for boots, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I had to phone a friend.
You did a good job.
And I'm glad that I did. Once again, I loved that game. Thank you, Tecovas. And
thank you, Tecovas, for these, because Erika was needing another pair of boots.
Oh, they're so cute.
hey, y'all, it's Pat with Like a Farmer. Are you looking to add some local flavors to your recipes? Well, visit freshfromflorida.com today, where you can browse hundreds of delicious recipes that bring Florida freshness to your table all year round. Become a Fresh from Florida member for free and create your own menus. Save and send your favorite dishes and get exclusive access to monthly newsletters packed with fresh local recipes. I can promise you, you will be a favorite in your neighborhood. From the Florida fields to your fork, year-round freshness and flavor are just a logo away. Fresh from Florida, there's a sunshine in every bite. Hey y'all, today's episode is brought to you by Ag America, your go-to financial partner for all things agriculture. As the largest independent financial firm dedicated to rural America, Ag America is changing the game when it comes to ag lending and leveling up finance options for farmers, ranchers, and landowners across the nation. And I'll let you know the secret. The thing that sets this company apart from the rest is the people. They understand firsthand the unique needs of American farmers and ranchers because many of them grew up on farms themselves. They take a farmer-focused approach to finance, prioritizing relationships over transactions to help you build a stronger financial foundation for you and your family. So whether you're looking to buy land or secure working capital, Ag America has your back. Visit agamerica.com today to learn more and see how they can help you achieve long-term financial success. Because when farmers thrive, we all do. Let's keep the conversation going, man. I'm telling you, I'm jacked up on this ranch. I love this.
200 milligrams of caffeine got you fired up.
Yeah. Huh? Okay. Outside of ag, you've talked about a little bit the rentals, the laundromat. Did you say that too?
We own a dry cleaners and a laundromat. Yes.
Okay.
Along with my cousin, who's my business partner, and his wife.
A big thing that I like to do when it comes to labeling farmers and ranchers across the country is really putting together words of who they are. Hardworking, grit, blue collar. Entrepreneur is one of the biggest things that people really don't understand on who the farmer is. I mean, you're talking about all these other things you have going on. How did you get into all that stuff?
So we label ourselves serial entrepreneurs, is kind of what we say. And that really kind of came by accident. So
we were looking for a business.
So when I graduated from college, I came back home and went to work in a preconditioning yard, which is, we buy 3 and 4 weight cattle and take them up to 6, 7 weight and then ship them to the feed yards in Kansas. We'd straighten them out. And while I was doing that, that's when we bought this place. And
But you were working all the time.
right, we got 2 days a month off. Every other Sunday was all we got off. A week during the summer, and it was like I kind of got to looking at it like, hey, I'm killing myself working for somebody else's dream, And at the end of the day, I'm never going to have much of my own if I'm still working for them all the time. And I absolutely love that job. I mean, I love mixing feed every day, doctoring cattle every day, plowing and planting and, farming, what little farming we did. I absolutely loved all that, but it was like, I'm not going to be able to advance, make something for our family working for somebody else's. So I took a job in town selling Chevrolet pickups, and I did that for 3 or 4 years, 5 years. And as we were doing that, my cousin came to me, he's a banker. Was a bank president at that time. And he said, hey, the local dry cleaner and laundromat is fixing to come up for sale. He says, what do you think about that? I said, I don't know much about dry cleaning and laundry, but I'll go watch it. So I had 2 weeks of vacation saved up at the dealership. I took both my 2 weeks of vacation. I went and sat there at that dry cleaners and that laundromat for 2 weeks and watched the way it ran and operated. The first week I spent doing everybody's job. I pressed jeans, I pressed shirts, I did the washing, I worked the cash register, did all that kind of stuff, and saw how everybody's job worked. The second week I spent going over the books and the financials and seeing how it all operated, and we made the decision to, hey, we're going to buy this and give it a run. And 12 years later, here we are. And kind of our goal when we first started the cleaners, when we bought it, was, how about every 3 or 4 years we try to add something new to our portfolio? So 3 years after we bought the cleaners, or 4, I guess, we bought some duplexes, some rental properties, and I managed those. And then 3 or 4 years later, I talked to my cousin and said, hey, I think we need to build some spec homes. He's like, all right, let's do it. So we bought some lots and started building a few houses. And recently we bought a little old piece of land outside of town that we're going to develop some way or another. I don't know if we're going to put a pole barn on it and have storage spots there, maybe put some storage buildings, I don't know, something. But we like to add something every year and just kind of keep diversifying and growing so that we always have some source of income coming in to help with things. So
that's awesome. I love that. And when you go back to the word entrepreneur, and even when it comes to on the farm, I mean, you look around and it's more than just cattle. It's the sheep thing. And the sheep thing, I mean, Miss Erika and I were talking about it before we even got on camera. That's so interesting to me, like that market. What type of stuff outside of sheep and cattle are y'all doing right now on Bar 7?
Obviously, social media has developed its own business. I mean, it does generate income for us. And I say it's a secondary farm source of income because I don't think it would be where it was at without the farm and ranch content. Do you?
Right.
Y'all have merch too, right, when it comes to this?
We have merch, but the sheep deal works good because that was Clancy's idea. He wanted something of his own. We let him buy some sheep. That turned into, when I saw what his lambs brought, like, hey,
that makes way more sense.
Let's buy some more. Me and you are going to partner on these, and let's grow the flock. So we've realized, not recently, but since kind of after about 2 years after we first bought this place, that running a cow-calf operation for us wasn't profitable.
And we started off that way.
We started off like everybody around us.
It's so important for people to understand that too. It's so hard to be profitable right now on the cow business, especially with how much land's going for and trading for these days. You have to have a diversified operation or you just won't make it in agriculture.
And you have to think outside of the box a little bit. Just because your neighbor runs a cow-calf operation and it works for them, you don't know what expense. I mean, their land may be paid for and they're just using it. It's just a source of income for them. But us, we're trying to pay for our land, and at the end of the day, when we were weaning calves and selling calves, it was like, hey, we're barely covering the fertilizer, the weed kill costs, a little bit of upgrading fences and stuff like that. It's really just breaking even. It's not really not generating any income. So let's do something different. So we went to what I knew, running yearlings. We started buying and selling. We'd buy truckloads of what we call cut bulls, bulls that weigh 700, 800, 900 pounds, bull yearlings, castrate them, get them healed up, and then ship them to the feed yard. We did that for a little while. Then we started doing what we do now, where we trade some replacement females. So like right now, we've got a handful of replacement heifers out here that are calving, and we're just going to sell them as pairs. We bought them as shortbred heifers. We're going to sell them as pairs. We're going to roll them up a few $100s a head and make a little money and move on down the road. When now our grass is starting to go dormant, when we sell them out, we won't buy anything else. We'll just let it sit fallow for the rest of the winter, and then when in the spring, when it starts to grow back, we'll heavy stock it and take advantage of the grass then. The newest source of income I'd say we've added to the ranch is
feedlot behind us.
And that really stemmed from what?
I mean, I think that was always kind of a dream that we've had, was to do some freezer beef for the last, 5 or 6 years. But in sharing our story of Clancy feeding his steers for the fair, people were interested. And they're like, well, can we buy beef from you? Like, this is so cool. Can we buy beef from you? And so that kind of brought in the feedlot, and that made that dream come true, I think, a little faster than it probably would have without social media, at least.
That direct to consumer just seems to continue to get more popular and popular. It wasn't that long ago. What's the deal with the McDonald's thing and the
McDonald's is suing the Big Four right now, saying they're basically have a monopoly on the prices of beef. That it's we got an unfair advantage over there. I think COVID really did a big shot in the arm for producers if they want to do a direct to consumer product, because that was really the only time America really felt like, hey, we might have a shortage of food, because things started getting kind of scarce then.
Right. And they wanted a person to buy it from instead of relying on a grocery store at that point.
So because of, like Erika said, because of what they had seen Clancy doing with his commercial steer project for his county fair, that led us to build this little feedlot. And it's not big. I mean, we've got 20 head in there right now, 19 steers in there right now. But I will say that half acre right there will generate more income than the whole rest of this place. And it's been amazing how much demand there's been for it. Now, granted, I think some of that is just, hey, we want to say we bought stuff from those guys, from the Bar 7 people. But I think the product is going to speak for itself. I think we'll have customers for life once they bite into that first ribeye or that first T-bone from those steers that are standing behind us. So
I love that. And this all goes back to social media and how important it is to have a brand. I've always said, I think, outside of your true boots on the ground labor and agriculture, I think the number one thing operation needs is marketing. I truly do.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this some in our speeches before too, that
not speeches.
I'm trying to sit over here and be quiet when he says it.
I really think moving forward, and I would like to know what your thoughts on this is. I think if you don't have a social media presence of not necessarily social media, but just a presence on some, like a YouTube, any of that kind of stuff, you're going to be considered illiterate moving forward.
I think you're spot on. I think for two reasons you're spot on. I think when it comes to getting your information and sharing your message, I think that's the platform that you need. I do think new media is here and it's here to stay. So I think with whatever you want to say, whether it's to celebrate people or to educate people, I think you have to have social media. And the second thing is, we talked a little bit about it earlier, the technology piece. If you don't get up to speed with technology these days, it's going to leave you, and it's going to leave you in the dust, and you're going to be illiterate. It's not just about reading and writing, it's being able to how to use technology. So I think you're spot on that.
We do this all the time. We ask people to pull out their phones and
don't tell my secret.
Scroll over and see how much time they spend on their phone. And everybody thinks, I only spend 30 or 45 minutes a day checking stuff. Have you ever done that on yours?
I have. We've had.
He's like scared. He's like, I'm not doing it right now.
I'm going to do it right now.
Do it right now. You know how to check
what
it?
is y'all's? What is y'all's?
Now you can't judge us because we're creators.
Well,
right?
I get that, but
so
okay.
Just
what
swipe
do I?
right. Just swipe right.
Swipe right.
And then scroll up. No, other way.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
So what's it say right there? How many hours right there at the top? What does yours say?
I'm not telling you now.
No, tell us. Come on.
Okay, mine's 7 hours and 43
It wasn't
minutes.
And how much of it is on social media?
1 hour and 54.
That's not bad.
No.
So what are you spending the rest of your time on? Watching video games? I mean, watching college football games or something?
Yeah,
NFL
exactly.
games? So,
Mine's 3 hours on social media.
So, with all that said, that's where the majority of people spend their time. And the statistics show whether you're 65 years old or you're 18, what do we figure? It's like 2 hours a day is the average?
2.5 hours a day is the average.
That people spend on social media, whether you're 65 to 18. So, with that said, having a presence there is
Vital.
And you're really just marketing yourself on there. So, my advice to you younger folks would be be very careful about what you put on there, because I know me as a business person, if I'm going to looking at resumes, the first thing I'm doing is pulling up social media accounts on you to see what are you putting out there for the whole world to see, because you're going to be the next face of my company if you're working for me. And I want to be sure that what you're putting out on your personal time is going to line up well with my brand. So
That's awesome. He is spot on that. Like, especially when it comes to employment and jobs, I do think, I'll be honest with you, I think if somebody brings in a resume, the first thing you do is a Google search and a social media search. So I think moving forward, it's just the way of communication. You saw in the presidential election this year, like, everybody went on podcast. That's the new format.
not everybody.
Not everybody, but I think
the winner did. The
winner. That's true.
And that's one of the things. You listen to those radio programs.
True.
And I think the Democratic Party has said that was the key to victory for Trump this year, was spending time on podcasts and stuff and reaching those other people.
I think, and it's crazy. I promise y'all, I've never spent this much time talking about politics on this show, but it's educational, right? I think linear TV and the ropes and the restraints that are on that, and I don't care if it's a Fox or CNN or whatever you watch, I think people are starting to realize, man, they have some restraints on what they can show and talk about. Yep. Like, this new media, like I said, it's here and it's here to stay.
Yeah.
It's a tool, and it's a tool meant to use to promote yourself and for business and to being successful. And to your point, which I appreciate you saying, it can be a dangerous tool depending on what you put on there. So you need to watch what you're putting on there. But it's a tool, and people should learn how to use it, because it could really drive your success and your future.
We try to tell that to our 15-year-old every day. We're like, you have a knife business. Like, you need to start a channel. You need to start your social media presence right now as a 15-year-old and try to, build from there, which some 15-year-olds aren't all about the internet yet, and he's one of them. He's one of them that's not all, doesn't want to be out there, but it's like.
And we don't force him to do it.
No,
but
we don't force him to do it.
You're missing an opportunity that you could really capitalize on. And it's not, it's not all about making money, but the fact of the matter is
you got to market yourself.
You're always marketing yourself. And it's like you said, it's a tool. You've got it there before you use it if you can. So,
and especially now, we just talked about the direct-to-consumer. You're telling me about this knife business. The whole retail space, I just think, is probably in the past for the most part. So you need that to be able to go direct-to-consumer online. The e-commerce is here for sure. So I think that's probably why it's also important to learn how to use and know how to use it.
That's almost scary, though, because I think eventually we'll get to the point where you're not walking into stores and grabbing. It's just everything's going to be online, and it's going to ship to your house. You'll have it the day you order it or the next day.
Which I miss. Hey, let me tell you, shout out to Tecovas. So you talk about an experience when you walk into that. When you walk in to that beautiful leather smelling store of Tecovas, and they ask you, "Hey, Pat, would you like a drink?" Absolutely, I would like a drink. Would you like to try on a pair of boots? I would love to try on a pair of boots. They have got the experience. Yeah. Walking into the Tecovas, A+. Second to none. That's my plug. And ag gear. Let's talk about ag gear a little bit. I think a storefront for ag gear would be fantastic for everybody. I think an experience of walking into an ag gear and the education of what agriculture is and who the farmers and ranchers are that are wearing this ag gear, I think would be a really cool thing, and we should continue to push them to do it.
I've been after them. So, yeah, Robert, you're on notice right here.
Yeah.
All of Pat's putting you on all of Coach.
Coach.
Devin.
All of you.
Come on, guys. So,
but that's what's been great about going to to being in booths with Ag Gear is just having farmers and ranchers in their booth and getting to have that experience with people while they're kind of shopping around in a booth space.
Because you have to have that these days.
Yeah.
You have to have some sort of, I'm going to call it an activation when you walk into a store, an experience. You have to have that to keep up, or to your point, like it just won't be there.
You're not
anymore.
relevant anymore.
Yeah.
I thought you just did a cool play on words. I thought you said to be in boots with
I know. I did
Ag
too.
Gear. It's like, man, she slipped into Tecovas there.
Let's just say I
Ag Gear,
did. Let's pretend I did.
But I think you said booth,
Yeah.
in booths with them.
Yeah.
So
Let's pretend I said boots.
What this has been awesome. I really appreciate y'all coming on and having me out here. But we've got NFR in Vegas in a couple weeks. What else is coming down the pipeline for y'all?
well, NFR is the last thing we have on our calendar this year, right?
Yep.
And then the first part of next year we have
CattleCon.
CattleCon in San Antonio.
San Antonio
Yep.
this year.
We've been talking to a couple of state young farmer and rancher programs through their Farm Bureau organization about going and speaking to their young farmer and rancher programs.
We get to do a lot of that, and that's been a cool, interesting process.
That's awesome too. And my younger brother's running ours, the Young Farmer and Ranchers back home. So, and y'all are good at that. Y'all seem to enjoy giving y'all's speeches.
Speeches. Let's keep calling it speeches.
But I think, and I mean, I want to continue to show love and shout out the Farm Bureau, because I just think it's one of those organizations we have to continue to have, not just on a national level, but on a state level. Getting involved with those is awesome, and I appreciate y'all doing that. And it seems like you enjoy educating the people when you go out, and I'm trying to find a damn word that's not speech, because now Erica's got me. I get where he's coming from. I don't know.
Speaking engagement.
Speaking
I don't know.
presentations.
It's not presentation. Stop saying it.
Okay, so you got the CattleCon, you have YF&R. Anything else?
I think that's really about it right now.
Yeah, that's
It still blows my mind that
people want to talk to us.
younger people want to talk to us. I mean, I can see maybe, 45, 50-year-old folks that are kind of in our age and demographic, enjoying listening to us or talking with us. But the younger people, I mean, that always blows my mind that they even want to listen to anything we have to say. But we do enjoy going and speaking to those different groups and sharing what little success we've had and kind of how we don't have a plan, we can't tell anybody how to get to where we're at. I mean, the biggest part of our life is our faith in God, and we know that God has given us these platforms because we use them to promote Him. So I think that's why we're able to reach some of the younger people, is because, it's God's will. That's what God wants us to do. So we don't hide our faith in anything that we do. We don't shy away from it. And a lot of creators, I hate to even use that word. I don't think of us as creators, but that's kind of what we've been labeled over the years, I guess. We love to share what God's done in our life. Every week we do a devotional. We call them capsule sermons, where we take a scripture and we read it and tell everybody, kind of, this is what it means. This is how you can apply it to your daily life. And we started doing that early on, like within
the first couple of months
of our social media journey. So we really believe that's the main reason we found success on these platforms.
But I think the other cool thing is, like, the number one question we always get is, like, how do I start ranching, And I think the thing we get to show people is, like, you don't have to be a full-time rancher to be a rancher. We have full-time jobs in town, and then we do all of this on the side, because sometimes you got to do that to make it all work, And so just sharing how we got to where we are 18 years later is just really cool.
Right, we didn't get here overnight. It took years to get here. Just plugging away a little bit, doing every little bit you can, learning and applying what you've learned. The biggest things in ag is everybody says you can't start from scratch. And while it is hard, it is possible. We see people do it every day, right? You don't have to be born into it. You don't have to marry it. You may not be able to start at the top, but you can start, and you can build an operation from the ground up. You just may have to do stuff that everybody around you is not doing. You may have to raise pigs, or versus everybody else raising cattle, or you may have to have sheep, or
I have a friend in Florida who's started out with a big meat chicken. And he's got, like, not a very small acreage. And it's like you just start wherever you can.
Yeah. start with what you've got and grow it, and then just do the very best you can at what you've got, and then it'll eventually click and take off.
I love that. I also love just living vicariously through y'all's social media. Y'all do a great job shining light on y'all's life and on the ranch and what y'all do outside of the ranch. And I really enjoyed having y'all on the show today.
Well, thank you for having us. We've enjoyed you and Frank here with us today. So
shout out Frank behind the camera. Hey, and shout out y'all for watching another episode of Like a Farmer. We talked a little bit about faith, some family, some farming. We tried on a new pair of boots. We got to listen to the chicken and the cows today. Appreciate y'all tuning in. As always, continue to like, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you got to do to be like a farmer.